Hello, everybody. I'm Jenny DeLacy, Talking Digital, and today I'm talking to Miles Primrose. Yeah. What'd you interrupt? I was in flow. What are you bloody interrupt me for? Now I've got to remember what I was going to say. Hello, everybody. I'm Jenny DeLacy, Talking Digital, and today I'm joined by Miles Primrose, who's been mentoring trades and builders, business owners for more than 18 years. Welcome, Miles.
Welcome, Jenny.
Can you tell us a bit about your experience before you started mentoring?
Absolutely. Look, before I started Businesssight, which was the goal of actually creating the most comprehensive business workshop for trades and builders, if I go 10 years before that, I was actually working on commercial construction sites. So going to places around Australia and New Zealand where they're about to open a brand new shopping centre, new supermarkets. My role was to go there and help project manage and help open those commercial premises on time. And that was because simply they were investing, well, then, 28 years ago, millions and millions of dollars. And if they don't get this place open on time, they're going to lose a lot of money. Now, me being the age of 23 then, single guy, 23, I didn't realise they'll plonk this guy in there. He'll work like the clappers till 5 o'clock in the morning, come back an hour later, drive him into the ground. But the thing is, I got the place opened on time. That was my first experience of actually working with trades, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot. I got to work on a construction site. I got to see the business side, and I got to get involved in a lot of project management.
That's awesome. The topic we want to talk about today, though, is structure, and it's something that we hear a lot about it. And what does it actually mean, and why is it so important?
Look, what I'll do is I'll share my. There's a document that I've got here.
Yep.
And so we've created a 2-page document here on, do I have the right structure for my business? Because the word gets thrown around so much with people these days. And, I get people that talk to us and say, I need to put some structure in business. My mate has actually worked on his business. He's got some structure in there. Now things just seem to be running a bit better. And look, I get that, but structure can mean so many things. And I'll go through a few of them now. So first of all, we've got what we call the big picture structure. Now, this is about actually, in the most sensible sense, where do you actually want to take your business in the end? Where would you like it to end up? And if we look at operational structure and those type of things, they're important, but there's no use trying to organise those if you don't have a clear picture of actually where you want the business to end up at the end. So that's the first thing. The next thing, and this is something that a lot of people actually, unfortunately, they get this looked at after the fact. This should be looked at first. And this is the legal structure. So most of us want to grow, $1 million business. Our goal is to grow a big business. We would like to make a bit of profit. How we can actually distribute that to family members or shareholders or whatever the case may be. So the legal structure is obviously very important. And that's something that needs to be looked at early on if you can. And the next thing is the people structure. So sometimes we get business owners that hire family members or mates, and that's okay when you start off, but when you actually really want to start to scale your business, you need to think about, what does the dynamics of the business look like in its ideal form? What does that structure look like? What does the skill set and the personality of those people look like from the people structure point of view? So that's really important to get that right, because as you would know, there's no use you hiring another one of you exactly the same as you. You need to make sure you've got the different skill sets and the different personalities in the right spot to grow the business. The next part is the office structure. Now, a lot of people I speak with get confused, or they might not have the right perception of what the office structure is. They think they'll just lob everything to one person. Now, in the office, you've got somebody that might do the books, so that's the financial side. You've got somebody that might do the social media, which is totally different. So obviously the books is numbers, that's detail, that's a process. And then you've got the social media people, as you know, they're a bit more creative and they need a different strategy. And then you've got the admin people, and the admin people are the people that might actually help support you with talking to local government. They're going to submit forms. They're going to actually help you with hiring people and so on. So there's three different types of people, and the people structure in the business from an office point of view is there's a variety of at least three positions. Delivery structure. So on the tools, when you actually set up your team and you want to scale, you've got to make sure that there's got to be a point where you actually slow down and you actually hand responsibility over to somebody else. And there does get to a point where maybe you've got a team of 6 or 7 people where you need a structure where you actually change from facing the customer to facing the team. Now, what that means is that you've turned into somebody that's actually serving your customers to actually you're somebody that's actually serving your team. And you become a coach. So you're actually coaching your team. And to actually do that, you've got to actually make sure that you've got the right things in place, because some people actually say they don't trust other team members. It's not about actually not trusting other team members. It means you actually don't have the right structure in place. And that means you can't trust anybody else. The next thing is your brand positioning. And this is really important. I get a lot of people actually saying to me, I would like to have customers that are going to pay me on time. They're going to pay me the value of gold, but I feel like I'm only getting the value of copper, for example. And that's because their brand doesn't actually represent the standard of work that they actually deliver. So does the structure of your brand actually equal what you actually deliver, the output? And then your marketing structure. Now, again, as you actually grow your business, this can get broken down into different areas, because you've got people that you might hire somebody permanent part-time to do repetitive tasks from a lead generation point of view. There might be somebody that you might actually work on projects or activities for emailing. You might have somebody else that actually works for you 1 day a week that actually builds databases. So there's so many different areas, and I'm sure you know this as well, Jenny, that from a marketing point of view, as you grow your business, you don't need a lot of full-time people, but you need a lot of permanent part-time people that actually specialize in certain areas. Now, the sales structure, with a trades or a building business, you can actually automate a lot of things. So automation could be things such as you want the calls to be organized in a certain way. So you could have a 1300 number. So I know for my business, I've got 1300 one trade. And that's good if you're going to have an ad on the radio, or if it's going to be on the back of a van, for example.
Yeah, it's a great.
So one thing I see is there's a lot of trades. You know, I pull up at the traffic lights and I see there's two or three phone numbers on the back of the van. Thinking, that's crazy. How am I supposed to remember that?
Yeah.
So sales structure to me in a trade or a building business is, what can you actually automate? So what can you put in place to actually make your business less reliant on you? So it could be a 1300 or a 1-800 number. It could be a form to fill out on a website. It could be you want more leads. There could be something on a website where you're actually giving something away. It could be something like our checklist here, where people can actually download it. When they download it, you're getting their email address, and you can actually start to send them an email once a quarter, for example. And the thing that I'm going to finish on today is your swim structure. So from a safety point of view, now, obviously, as we know, these things get updated from time to time. And a lot of people actually look at this and they think, you know, I've got a 1-person business or a 3-person business. I don't have time for this. It doesn't take long. And these things come in packages where you've got templates. It's pretty easy to fill out. So To me, it's really important to actually make sure that people actually use these, and because if there is an accident and you haven't used these, you could be liable for, these days it's a six-figure sum, for depending on if you're a sole trader or if you're a company. But the swim structure is actually really easy to implement, and it's something that's obviously really important if you do it properly. The other thing also I find is that people are going to be more likely to actually want to stay with you because they're actually seeing that you're taking your business more seriously.
It's much more professional. That's absolutely heaps. Just even as I know this is only the sort of start of what you have just in that checklist, let alone the rest of the mentoring you do for people. How can people download it? We're adding a link, I think, so they can go and grab the rest of that checklist. Is that right?
Absolutely. So there's a Facebook group, private group just for trades and builders. So it's the Trades and Builders Business Group, and there will be a link for that at the bottom of this video. And for the people that actually want to book in a time to have a chat with myself, one of the team, the number that I said before, so 1300 1 trade, 1300 187 233.
Fantastic. Fancy getting 1301 trade. How did you manage? I'm surprised it was available. That's very cool. Very, very cool. And so our Trades and Builders business group is a Facebook group, and it's free. So go check that out on Facebook and join in for some more free value and just community as well. And you can download the structure checklist there from Miles with the link below. But thanks for joining us today. And look, that's just tip of the iceberg in terms of, how many topics you help your clients with. I know that. And so you feel that structure is super important. It's a foundation of everything, isn't it, for your trades and builders business?
It is. And I think the thing is with the checklist, one of the reasons I made this, and there's a couple of others that we've made, but with this one in particular, so many people actually ask about, I need to implement some structure into my business, and we've done it so they can actually take away a lot of the guesswork. There's about 40 different things on there. So, and it's not supposed to be a checklist to actually make people think, wow, well, there's so much to do. It's like, well, here's the checklist. Start with the most important thing and work your way through it. So if you want to download it and work your way through it, go for it.
Thank you. That's awesome. So there you go, everybody. Check out the Trades and Builders Business Group on Facebook for that community and for some more value from Miles. Thank you, Miles Primrose, for joining us. And don't forget to download the structure checklist there. Miles, I have one last question that I've been asking a lot of business leaders, and that is, how have you experienced in your industry, how did sales change? Did it change? But if it did, how did it change in the last 12 months for you?
In the last 12 months, I think, like everybody, the very first month when we got the news from the Prime Minister, like the very first month was like, you didn't know what was going to happen. And then after that, it really is, you've got to make the most of what you've got, and you've got to adapt really quickly. So I think that the thing is, my business, like a lot of other businesses, and like a lot of Australians, we're very good at actually being resourceful. We're very good at actually getting through unusual and hard situations better than other people. And so, look, as far as sales, it's actually about being able to offer what we had before, where we were doing training in person, but actually changing that so quickly. And I know a lot of other people are working with video, but what we've done is, instead of just working with video, we've made it easier for people. So what I mean by that is, when people do the program with us, they're not actually just doing a program where they're watching a video. We physically send them out the manuals. We're actually on video. We've got some rules about how we actually do the video. And when people watch a program with us, For example, we actually will be going through a certain part and then we'll flick the camera down so they can actually see the manuals and everything. So we're making it as easy as possible for people to actually be there.
Yeah.
And to get back to what you were saying before with sales, to make it work, we've just simply instead of 2 levels of our program, we created 3. And then for the people that are actually been in business for less than 2 years, we've created a 12-week program, and that's worked. So it's about actually listening to what's going on in the environment and actually make it as easy as possible for your customer to actually get on board.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I know that that seemingly your audience are trades and builders who sometimes are a bit anti being in an online environment. They're not used to being in online Zoom meetings or whatever for their training. So I know that it wasn't probably something that, like, there may have been some reluctance, but like you said, you just make them comfortable and make it as easy for them as you possibly can. So that's been fantastic. But I think a lot of people added something to their product mix last year. In terms of adding that if you've been in business less than 2 years, was that because you saw how many new businesses were starting? Like, how many people actually went out on their own last year, or was it different to that?
It was. I had a lot of people that actually, like, I suppose the Trades and Builders Business Program, I get told it's really comprehensive and extensive, which is great. But then for some people that actually have just started business, they said, it's too much to start off with. So it really pushed me to actually create something that I was supposed to do anyway, but I just got it done. It's one of those things, you need to do it. But in the last 12 months, it was something that actually, okay, well, now I've got to get it done, and I've got it done within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And keep in touch with Miles at Trades and Builders. You've got a Facebook page, an Instagram, a website.com.au. Is that your website?
The website is businesssight.com.au.
Great.
But the Facebook page is the Trades and Builders Group in Facebook, and the phone number is 1300 187 233.
1300 1 trade. Fantastic. Thanks, Miles.
Thanks, Jenny.